I recently was in Las Vegas on a layover flight.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God, is it hot there? Like, it was 120 degrees, and these people live there intentionally. I'm just like, we got it so good.
Yo, what's up? It's AJ with Hippie Fertilizing on the More Than Grass podcast. Today is another very exciting day. I have Justin from Grill Pond Gardens out here with me. We're going to jump into how he got started, what he does, and just add to our experience because Justin here from Grill Pond Gardens also has a huge emphasis on organics, natural lawn care, organic fertilizing, organic landscaping, things of that nature, right? To try and help everyone kind of move away from the whole treat and defeat mentality. So Justin, what's up, dude? Good morning.
Good morning. You know, I'm so happy and excited to be here this morning. I've been watching these podcasts for a while now, and I was like, man, when's he going to call me? It's time.
Yeah. So I did. Thank you for being here. Justin, how long have you been in the landscape industry? Go deep, man.
Man, let's see. Does a stroller count?
I mean, probably like as a seed.
Oh man,
Before
God,
germination.
Lord. Yeah, I mean, my family's been in this industry my whole life, and I mean, our parent company, Lens Landscaping, was started by my grandfather back in 1951. 1951.
Woo.
Crazy. What's crazy is like we have like some old photography of the area when like it was first getting going. It's wild, man. There were no trees out here.
No?
It's so weird. Like you think like
So
historic
like prairie.
We were a prairie.
Okay.
All these trees, this is all because of people living here.
Yeah.
This was not the way the only trees that existed in this area were along the rivers.
So in essence, it's almost like we've created urban forestry.
We have 100% created an urban forestry. All those oaks along Main Street, those are all here because of people.
And so, little like tidbit for those watching out of the area, when he says Main Street, we live in League City, Texas. We have an area called Old League City that is covered by these gigantic, 100-plus-year-old oaks?
Yeah, they're I think they're Butler Oaks is like how they're branded. I don't know if it's like an actual like subspecies or anything, but they're just Butler family oaks.
Mm-hmm. They're huge.
They're huge.
They're beautiful, but apparently they were not here.
No. I mean, it's especially like, you know, we've got imagery of ourselves, but you can even go back and look at historical aerial photography, and the only trees that exist anywhere in this area are along the bayous. That's it.
Oh,
This is all open grass prairie land.
Yeah. And so, you know, we said you're born into it.
Oh yeah.
Right. How old were you when you really like started getting your hands dirty? Let's say working for your grandfather and for your father.
So, I mean, I guess you'd say like my first kind of really bout into it was during the summers out of school. You know, I would go ride with my dad or my gramps, and we'd go to jobs, and I don't know how actually helpful I was at that age, but
you were a little kid then, huh?
Yeah, I was a little kid,
Okay.
but you know, I was having fun.
Yeah.
You know, I'd use the shovel and do whatever the other guys were doing, but I really got into the business out of high school, when got professional degrees or certificates for what we do now. So I'm a licensed irrigator, licensed backflow inspector, and then that segued into the garden center, and it just kind of all tumbleweeded to today.
Yeah. So, and I'm just, cause I don't know exactly, what is that? 15 years now, 17 years in the industry, like really working.
Jeez, has it been that long?
I mean, dude, I've been doing it for 14
Yeah, I guess so.
now, and I think you got a couple years on me.
It flies by. I feel like, I don't know, like there's sometimes like I look at them like I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just like, I know all this information, but like I'm still kind of like flying by the seat of my pants. But then I look back at it, and like when you talk to people, are like, oh, you actually know what you're talking about.
I feel the same way often, right? Because we always come up with like new problems,
Yeah.
right? Or maybe it's an old problem, but it's the first time we're being faced with it,
Yeah.
right? And then, of course, I know our industry has, to a large degree, like changed
Oh,
over the years.
so much so. I mean, just think about like old, I want to say old timers. I don't know how to describe it, but old timers.
Let's just say it, the freaking old timers, man.
You know, they just lived and breathed the chemical fertilizers,
Right.
That's all they knew.
Uh-huh.
And you know, nothing
it's what
bad
they
against
were
them.
sold.
They were sold it,
That's
right?
what they
Like
were told and sold.
that's what they were told and sold. You're right. Like,
Yeah.
and now we have all this new information. We know so much more about how the ecology of the soil works. Like, there's so much more going on. Like, it's not just spray chemical fertilizers out there and walk away anymore.
Right. Like I said earlier about getting away from the treat and defeat mentality.
Yeah.
So much more than that.
Yeah.
And from the time you got started really in the industry, like, is that kind of what you were brought into? Is the chemical treat and defeat? Like, I know you were exposed to it from your upbringing.
Yeah.
But was there a transition already happening or no?
So yeah, so like when I got really involved, it was still predominantly chemical approach to things.
Mm-hmm.
And even 15 years ago, like when you look at 15 years ago to today and how much the organic movement has progressed, it's
Huge.
night and day. I mean, it's really not even close. But I mean, my big thing was when my first professional license that I got was my irrigation license, right? To become a licensed irrigator. And I had always been like I guess you'd say like a borderline hippie. Like I've always been like very aware of my environment around me.
Wait. Like they always tell me, you're not old enough to be a hippie.
Yeah. Well, you know what I think it is? I've talked this, excuse me, with Kayla a few times, and I don't think she ever watched this show as a kid, but I think that part of this is growing up. I used to always watch a show called Captain Planet.
Oh, I've seen that show. Yeah.
And I think Captain Planet, for, you know, it's whatever shortcomings where it got it canceled or whatever, but
that's because the information was too real.
Exactly. You know, I feel like Captain Planet, at least in my mind, really helped to solidify a focus on the environment around me.
Yeah.
And like not just this, you know, spray and forget mentality and not be concerned about what's washing down into our drainage systems. It's going down to the bay. Like everything goes somewhere. We need to be mindful of where it's going.
Right. There's this book that I really love called For the Love of Soil. And she describes something like that. She's like, yeah, for a lot of people, there's always this magical place called over there.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, where, you throw away your trash, you pour something out. Where does it go? Over there.
Yeah.
Where I don't have to look.
Over there has a name and it's a somewhere.
All right. Whether it's the ocean, Clear Creek.
Yeah.
All these lakes that are around our new subdivisions and developments.
Well, I can tell you, like, there's a bunch of things in our environment that are like the canary in a coal mine type of piece of the ecosystem. Like, for example, when I was a kid, I remember there were little mounds of crawdad piles, the little chimney piles that they make, the little crawdads.
Yeah.
As a kid, I remember they were everywhere. Have you seen any lately?
I have, but not nearly as numerous as when I was a kid, because we're like the same age.
Right. Why did they all disappear? Why are there so few now? And there used to be them everywhere.
Well, and another thing that is very similar to that is lightning bugs.
Oh yeah, lightning bugs.
Super sensitive to chemicals and changes in the ground. So fortunately, I was pretty happy. There's a place over in Seabrook, Texas. Go walking. I have seen them at night. And over by the train tracks again in Old Lake City, girl I used to date, in her backyard and around that house, close to Clear Creek over here,
right?
You would see them. So that was kind of hopeful. But you go over to neighborhoods, any neighborhood
Oh, it's like sterile environment. There's
Right.
nothing living, nothing growing.
No crawdads,
No.
no lightning bugs.
And it,
And so that's kind of interesting. What'd
yeah.
you call it? The
Oh,
canary in a
canary
coal
in a coal
mine?
mine. Yeah. Cause,
Okay.
coal miners, it used to be they would carry canary with them down the coal mine.
Uh-huh.
And if the canary all of a sudden stopped and it like died, they're very susceptible to low oxygen in their environment. And so the coal miners should know that they need to get the heck out of there.
I think that's super fascinating because our area, we have certain things like crawdads. I'm sure up north
Yeah.
they might not. All right, I'm not super familiar with all that, but I would say that every area has its own like microclimate
Yeah.
kind of thing and ecosystem and bugs and birds and what have you. So I would want to ask you watching what are things that you could look for that is your own canary in the coal mine in your area, right?
Absolutely.
Because what it's going to be for someone, say in Nebraska,
Mm-hmm.
is not going to be what it's down here for us in the armpit of hell, Gulf Coast of Texas.
Oh, you know, I I have always operated under that exact mentality, and I still do, but I have a new appreciation for how good we have it here. I recently was in Las Vegas on a layover flight.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God, is it hot there? Like it was 120 degrees, and these people live there intentionally. I'm just like,
Get off
we
the
got
boat.
is so good. We got is. I'll take 100% humidity. No
With 100
problem.
degrees and not
With 100
120?
degrees, I can't do 120, man.
Yeah.
I don't know how these people live there.
Yeah. So going back to you being in the industry for so long, grew up in it, started basically, like you said, straight out of high school, right?
Yeah.
How long have you had Grapon Gardens?
So Grapon Gardens started in 2018.
Yeah.
So our family has operated a garden center on the property for basically since the inception, right?
I worked there for like 2 weeks when I was a teenager.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God. I must have forgotten this piece of information.
Maybe so, but
That's crazy.
so it's 6 years old. Grapon
Yeah.
Gardens is.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're not super young. Like we've been around a little while, but
yeah.
don't let the number of years that Grapon Gardens has been in operation deter you, because our family has been doing this since forever.
For more than half a century.
Yeah.
That's incredible. That's incredible to have that going and going so strong, because me being in the industry for 14 plus years, like I said, yeah, I worked for a couple weeks at the nursery when I was a teenager.
That's freaking awesome, man.
Yeah, it was in the winter too, man. I was out in one of those like greenhouses, like clipping plants or something.
Yeah.
They were just trying to find something for me to do.
Oh yeah. Wintertime is slow in the garden center.
Yeah.
It's the busy project season.
Yeah, and y'all have always been very predominant in the area, right? So the fact that, I've gotten to get to know you better and like your father and the whole like lens, everything has brought a lot of value to myself too. Listening to your dad a long time ago, like, hey, this is how this works. This is how this works. I'm like, huh. And me being the way I am.
He's such a wealth of knowledge.
He is, but I love to challenge everything.
Oh yeah.
Right. So
We should challenge everything.
yeah. And
Understanding the why is half the battle. Like don't just, we should take advice from people who have been, through the ringer before, but like we should understand why they do things and like question, is that still the best way to do the thing?
right. Right. And it's really cool to be able to drive around and see y'all working on stuff. Sometimes hop out the truck. Hey, what's up, man? What y'all doing over here? Right.
We're making the Bay Area beautiful, one yard at a time.
Yes. And trying to promote things that promote soil biology.
Yes.
In the essence of it. Right.
Absolutely. And, when you're talking about what is your canary in a coal mine, I think that applies so beautifully to how we look at people's yards and diagnosing what's going on with them. Because I know me and you can look at a yard and we can pick up things like, all right, if I see this, I know that you've got some problems going on, right? And we can see those kind of like yard equivalent of canary in a coal mines, right? Like if
Oh
you've got
yeah.
brown patch, well, what there's a reason you've got brown patch, right? It's because it's a symptom of a bigger problem. If you've got chinch bugs, like there's just because you've got these things doesn't mean you just go and try to kill that thing. Like, all right, well, why did you get here? Why is this a problem?
It what I see all the time, and I want to bring it up all the time because, as you know, running your garden center, I'm sure you get the same questions, right? Especially in March, when to me it's like Black Friday
Yeah.
for like a few months, right? When it comes to lawn care and
Oh,
landscaping.
it's exciting.
Yeah,
It's so exciting.
putting it lightly.
Yeah.
uh, how do you kill the weeds? Or how do you do this? Or how do you do that? And people ask the wrong questions, in my opinion,
Yeah.
right? And, I go over to people's lawns and stuff is brown, stuff isn't growing, grass isn't taking root. And so often, like, well, did you put down a pre emergent? Dude, you could bet money most of the time they do, right? Some lady showed me some paperwork of what the other company was doing to
Oh,
treat her lawn.
yeah.
And I called it. She's pulling out all these runners that aren't sticking to the ground. Lawn looks like trash. Well, I bet you they're putting down prodiamine and like a high nitrogen fertilizer and expecting results. She showed me the paperwork. It was a 1802, right? And prodiamine.
Yeah.
And I'm saying prodiamine, there's other brands out there.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
just a very prevalent one, right? Of a pre-emergent. So coming from me, I, I don't care if I'm kicking a dead horse. I hate pre-emergents, people. They suck. It's just my opinion. But going back to like the changes, it is very refreshing to see that organics and soil biology is becoming way more predominant, right?
Absolutely. I would say over the past just 5 years, we have seen such a tremendous amount of growth in the organic movement and the industry. People are waking up. People are paying attention to not just, buying organics at the grocery store, which everybody should be doing,
Right.
but, our yard, right? Like we walk barefooted in our yards.
Your
What you
kids,
put in your yard
dogs,
is going to come in contact with you. You need to be putting good stuff down.
and even if like myself, I don't have children, right? But I do have my dog, so I care
Yeah,
about him. But I also am conscious, and I know other people are too, of like, what about other animals in nature,
absolutely.
right?
It's all about living I think overall, like when you look at the organic movement, right? I think you could say an overarching thing is people are trying to find harmony
Mm-hmm.
and trying to live life in balance with the earth,
Oh,
right?
yeah, I would agree. It is definitely moving in that
Yeah.
direction, and more. Even though sometimes, just like with anything, we got to kind of make a few mistakes or go
Oh,
about stuff the
absolutely.
wrong way to get there.
Yeah.
Uh, Sometimes the questions are really starting to be better.
Yeah. Well, we're still learning so much stuff. I mean, heck, like I would argue that probably one of the most exciting things uh in the soil world that has been discovered is just recently happened within the past decade is all the microbial life with the fungi and the mycorrhizal. Like we didn't even know about this 10 years ago. It wasn't even a thing. And like it's probably one of the coolest freaking things to happen.
Well, it was known, but definitely in the last decade and year after year moving forward, it is becoming more well known, like how much more intricate
Oh, it's so
it is,
intricate. It's
right?
like
Because
what we knew before was just like surface level. Like they knew like there was this thing was there, but they didn't have like really good like deep level of knowledge on it. But now it's
when we
like
didn't have a way to
incredible.
see it,
No.
we didn't have a way to quantify it, right? Now with technology improving, we have been able to improve. what we can see and understand about it.
Yeah.
For sure. Because there's like what, Dr. Elaine Ingham?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you've heard of her, right?
Yeah.
She's been around since probably since we were born, maybe.
Yeah.
So that's like 30 years. But I definitely agree in the last 10 years, the information has improved drastically.
And the availability of the information, right?
Yes. And
it's
then,
not just locked up in some textbook somewhere. Like it's out there.
And in such a form that us normal people can't understand it either.
Yeah.
Right? What is this literature that looks like Latin?
Right? Oh man. You know that this is probably going to sound really bad, but one of the things that drives me the most nuts is when people will call the garden center and they'll like spout out the Latin name for something. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm not a textbook.
Yeah.
Like, tell me the local name of that thing you're wanting. Oh, you want an agapanthus? Great. I got that.
Right. Like, dude, yeah. I know a lot of things. I know you know a lot of things, right? But yeah, I totally agree that fortunately, it doesn't happen very often. At least not to me.
Yeah.
It probably happens more often to you, for sure.
It's not like super often, but like every time it happens, I'm just like, oh God, I have no idea. I want to help you so bad, but I have no idea what the Latin name of this thing is.
What makes it a little worse though, is then they, at least what I've experienced in the past, and again, fortunately, this hadn't happened in like a long time, but it's like they try to treat you like now you don't know anything.
Yes.
Right? Or you're stupid.
100%.
And I'm like, dude, I could school you on so much stuff, and you're wanting to diss me because I don't know a couple Latin words.
Yeah.
No thanks. Okay. You probably don't know a few English words that I know.
Yeah.
It's okay. We know different stuff.
That's
right?
perfectly
no
fine.
need to treat me like a fool.
And in our defense, like literally, there's like a dozen names for every plant, depending on where you're at in the world. Like there's so many local variations of names for plants. Like
dude, even weeds.
Yes. Right? Like, it's crazy.
And we're a huge melting pot.
Yeah.
Down here. So you get people from up north calling something one thing, people from over here calling something one thing, and I'm like, oh, well, y'all are all wrong. That's not even that's not even clover. That's black medic, people.
Yeah.
Right? So scratch that. Yeah, it does get challenging. Although on the brighter side of it, sometimes it makes you like kind of scratch your head and look into something, help you broaden your horizon just a little bit more. Yeah. Right? Yeah.
Oh, I try really hard to go throughout my day looking at when people challenge me, like, am I right? Am I wrong? Or most of the time, is there an opportunity for me to learn something here? Because usually that's the case. Like, even if you're right about something, you may hear something that at least causes you to think critically about why you think what you think.
I'm stubborn as hell. And I've dealt with a lot of lawns. So sometimes I'm just like, no. No.
Well, there's plenty of that for sure.
Be quiet, people. Quit telling me how something works, okay? Yeah. You called me to fix it, let me fix it.
Yeah.
Right? However, I agree, because I think about that. You got people that come from the chemical side and talk about fertilizer ratios, this and that and the other. And then I will dive into like a specific thing, like, what does potassium do to a plant?
Yeah.
Don't get me started on it right now, because I didn't take all the notes recently, okay? But
yeah, you need to bring your book with you of
of notes. However, I know when I started, right, I was just like, hey, let's use some organics, let's do this naturally, so on and so forth. And so a lot of stuff I would overlook about fertilizers and what they did and their purpose.
Yeah.
And as I've gotten older, I really dove more into what they do, but just taking a different approach on like how to get that application done.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's different sources of nitrogen. There's different sources of everything.
Yeah.
Right. And so, okay, yes, you're right. This plant needs this, but how can we give it in a most plant friendly and soil friendly form?
Well, I think what you're looking here for is there is a balance amongst all the different products, right? Mm-hmm. I think organics by and large are absolutely a way to go.
Yeah.
right? They're top of the list for me. But even some products that are not pure organics, as long as your focus is always to support soil biology, then you've got the right mindset, right? Look at every situation and question, is this going to support my soil? Is this going to promote the diversity of biology in there? So that way nothing can dominate. Keep that in focus and you'll be fine.
And is it going to have a positive impact on our ecosystem?
Absolutely.
Right? Our environment? But it's kind of, how do I say it? I don't know the right words at the moment. Essentially, if it is supporting soil biology, then you don't really have to worry about those other things.
You're right. You absolutely don't.
If it does support what I like to call the SSB train, baby, choo choo, then it is already doing all those things.
Yes.
So as we wrap up this session, Justin, Grow Pond Gardens is here in Leak City. Where's it at? What's its location?
So our address is 2060 Pecan Orchard Road here in League City. We are not on the main road. You're not going to just like stumble upon us. You have to be looking for us, which is both a blessing and a curse because we're tucked back and it's quiet and very tranquil.
Beautiful place. Go check it out.
Yeah. But so if you're going to be on Highway 96, you're going to look for a road called Pecan Orchard Road. Don't even try to look for it. Just pull up a map because it is so easily bypassed when you're traveling 45 miles an hour down 96.
True.
But if you can, look us up, find us. You won't regret it. We're going to take care of you. We'll give you some great knowledge and information.
And little super quick rundown, some of the products you carry.
Well, I'd say 99% of what we carry is plants. We have basically every plant that you could think of that belongs here in the Gulf Coast.
Yes.
And this is important, right? We stock more than just native plants. Of course, we have a lot of natives, but we have a lot of things that are naturalized to our environment. Which,
that can withstand.
Exactly, right? It's not... Native in Texas is such a dirty word to me because Texas is far too diverse of a state and too large for native to even be helpful.
Right.
Because we have nothing to do here on the Gulf Coast with West Texas, but we're still Texas and you can still say that a plant is native to Texas and it will die here.
Yeah.
So having things that I know are proven to be successful here on the Gulf Coast, that's what's important.
And I know, okay, because I want to make, a good mention, especially for our locals. Y'all carry MicroLife products.
We are huge on organics. I have tried over the years very, very hard to seek out and bring in organic options everywhere I can. I've got organic weed killers. I've got organic bug spray. Like I've got organic fertilizers. Organic stuff for your roses, and like we've got an organic approach as much as we can possibly do.
So to emphasize a little bit, so people around here who do see this locally, who are looking for it, they do carry like all the MicroLife products. Okay.
Yes.
And they also carry a majority of the Landscaper's Pride soils and mulches,
which are also all organic.
Yes. And so it's a great local place to go support, go get your natural fertilizers, go get your plants, go get your mulches and things like that. And they're right here in the heart of League City, off Pecan Orchard
Road.
Like he said, though, look up Grow Pond Gardens, put it on the map because, yes, you will blink and miss that little tiny sign on League City Parkway.
We have a bigger sign out on Saturdays, but that is our only little bit of sign grace that we get is to put a sign out on Saturdays. But the rest of the week, you got to find us.
Yeah. So I want to thank everyone for watching, for tuning in. Please give us a like, a share, a subscribe. We're going to have Justin back again soon. We're going to have some more guests. We're going to keep diving into the conversations about getting away from the treat and defeat mentality to using natural stuff and talking to people who have had some skin in the game. So check us out. Check out hippiefertilizing.com. Remember, nobody knows grass like a hippie. And we'll see you soon. Peace.